Our keynote speaker today is Professor Tom Calma, AO. Professor Calma is a Koongarakan and Iwaja Elder, 2023 Senior Australian of the Year, former Social Justice Commissioner of the Australian Human Rights Commission, and the 6th Chancellor of the University of Canberra, to name a few of his appointments during his illustrious career. It is with great pleasure that I invite Professor Calma to deliver the keynote address to us today.
A wonderful day it is to come together to celebrate the International Day of Peace in beautiful Canberra. I too acknowledge the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri peoples who are the custodians of Canberra and the region. People who have lived, loved, raised their families and cared for this country and waters for millennia before the arrival of the British that saw the subsequent dispossession of lands, cultures, languages and identities across the nation. I would also like to acknowledge all youth who will be our future leaders and the custodians of our stories, our languages, histories and cultures. They are our future. Australia is now a peaceful country, but our history of colonisation has been checkered with dispossession and massacres that are being recorded, and they have been for some time now, and made public to help the non-Indigenous population to better understand the country that they now call home. It's very important that we understand and learn from our past to ensure that our future does not repeat the atrocities of the past. Across Australia, over 400 massacres of Indigenous peoples took place on the Australian frontier, resulting in more than 10,000 deaths. And they're just the ones that were recorded. There's often references to numbers that weren't actually recorded. This is why the 21st of September is so important as we celebrate United Nations International Day of Peace. This year's theme is Action for Peace, our ambition for the hashtag global goals. It is a call to action that recognises our individual and collective responsibilities to foster a culture of peace for all, to fight inequality, drive action on climate change, and to promote and protect human rights. The International Day of Peace 2023 encourages all youth to be ambitious in their engagement as positive and constructive social agents to join the movement to reach the Millennium Goals and contribute to building sustainable peace. Together, we can help to lead the world towards a greener, more equitable, just and secure future for all. 2023 is also the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. The 10th of December also marks the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Declaration enshrines the inalienable rights that everybody is entitled to as a human being, regardless of race, colour, religion, sex, language, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. The 2023 theme for the 75th anniversary is Dignity, Freedom and Justice for All. Now this is a good segue for me to share a brief synopsis of the voice referendum that will be determined on the 14th of October. The voice we are referring to is where the First Peoples of Australia, that is, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who have been on this continent for over 65,000 years versus the 237 years of colonisation, are wanting to be active participants in government legislations, policies and programs that impact directly on us. To date, we have been the passive recipients of government policies and programs that are mostly not addressed the wicked problems that confront us. We believe that the principles of free, prior and informed consent and the right to self-determination as articulated in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and, as globally evidenced, supports that where people are actively involved in policies and programs that affect them, the outcomes will be greatly enhanced. The call for a voice actually started soon after the arrival of the First Fleet in 1788. Over the past 50 years, however, there have been 5 major national Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander representative bodies, and all have been established by one political party and abolished or starved of funding by another. That is our, and I'm referring to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, Achilles heel, and that's why constitutional enshrinement is paramount. Once in the Constitution, the voice can never be abolished by ever-changing governments, but only through another referendum. The voice is not about a special right. It is about a basic human right that we all share, the right to self-determination. All Australians will remain equal in the eyes of the law. The rule of law will stand and it will still apply to all Australians. The only thing that will change is that there will be a permanent new body to provide advice to the Commonwealth on laws, policies and programs that affect First Nations peoples. So let me close by recognising the great work of Rotary and their Poles for Peace initiative. Their original goal was to see 100 poles to recognise 100 years of Rotary service in Australia. Rotary has now passed 300 poles, with them located in every state and territory. An unexpected outcome has seen over 30 Indigenous languages featured on the poles. This has meant that Rotary members have had to consult with Indigenous leaders in their own communities, on their own country, to find the exact words in the language of and for "May peace prevail on earth." On each pole, these words are featured in English and 3 other languages. Rotary encourages every school who has a pole and those who may to also conduct ceremonies around the peace poles to recognise the International Day of Peace. There are now over 250,000 peace poles across the world as symbols of hope and dreams for the entire human family. May peace prevail on earth. Thank you.